Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Texas Rangers Daily. It is a Wednesday. It's a no-frills Wednesday this Wednesday. You know, sometimes you just got to get her done. So I have my handy-dandy Texas Rangers Daily notebook. Oh, by the way, I'm Chris with a positive C. If you enjoy the show, if you like the vibes, please like and subscribe. I didn't realize I was going to rhyme right there, so forgive me if you think that was corny. I think it was freaking awesome. You know what I else think is freaking awesome? I love reading stuff about wild trades. Just because it's the off season, you know, it's the time of year where you don't really know what could happen. There's so many options up in the air. There's so many things the possibilities are endless. And so sometimes I like reading up on people's wild trade ideas. And there's a wild trade idea from Kerry Miller of Bleacher Report. He was asked to throw out some wild trade scenarios, and his wild trade scenario for the Texas Rangers is getting rid of Jacob deGrom and trading him to the Anaheim Angels of Los Angeles, California, getting right-handed pitcher Ryan Johnson. And while I love The Last Jedi, I do not think Ryan Johnson is the type of Ryan, not Rian. Sorry, wrong Ryan Johnson. Excuse me. This Ryan Johnson was the 74th pick in the draft of 2024. Yeah, I mean, actually 2025. He just got drafted this past year, or 2024, I guess, would be the draft, and then spent a few, months in single A, and then ended up on the Major League roster at the end of the year, and had a 7.36 ERA in 14 innings up in the major leagues. And while I think, honestly, that this particular trade is one of those things where it's not going to happen, just because I think the Rangers in business mindset think and it's been proven that Jacob deGrom is a moneymaker for them. He's going to be somebody that fans come to see, fans buy the jersey, fans want to be a part of the organization that he's a part of because he's one of the greatest of all time. So yeah, you have to go ahead and keep that into account when it comes to the business side of things. You don't have to get rid of Jacob deGrom. It's not a must, but this is where I kind of agree with that scenario. If the Rangers are serious about changing the lineup, and we'll talk about Marcell Ozuna, we'll talk about, some things that can happen with that on a lower, pay scale end. But if you really want to change the lineup and get a big bopper like, Pete Alonso, Juan Soto, any of those guys, if you want to get the guy from Japan, you're going to have to pay some money. You're going to have to get some money available, and a part of that could be getting rid of a guy like Jacob deGrom. See you later, Jacob. And here's the thing. Don't come at me with you need Jacob deGrom to win a World Series, because guess what? When you won the World Series, you really didn't have Jacob deGrom at all. So he's a piece of the puzzle that got you the World Series because it made everything feel more real, I guess, because you had a guy like Jacob deGrom. But in all reality, you did it without him. You did it with Evaldi. You did it with John Gray. You did it with a whole bunch of other guys. And so we'll talk about Brandon Woodruff later. Woodruff, I think it's pretty much how you say it. Brandon Woodruff later. Maybe he could be a kind of guy that is John Gray-ish, kind of, Patrick Corbin-esque this past year, where, it's a lower money guy, veteran that could do some good for you and maybe push up the other people in the rotation to fill up Jacob deGrom's spot. I don't see it happening. I don't see the trade happening. Jacob deGrom's not going anywhere. I think for business-wise that the Rangers would be a fool to get rid of Jacob deGrom, but it's also something that if they're serious about some of the things they want to be serious about, they would think. And here we go. By the way, if you're serious about loving Texas Rangers Daily like I am, just like and subscribe. You know what I mean? Just do it. Just give me the big like and subscribe hug. That's a big hug. If you want to give Positive C, me, Chris, a big hug, like and subscribe. That's the last time I'm going to mention it until the end of the show, by the way. But I am going to mention this guy right here. Marcell Ozuna is a free agent from the Atlanta Braves. And just to give you an idea of where the offense has been, this past year, we've gone over numbers, but I don't think we've really gone over the rankings. They are 26 in slugging, 26 in batting average, and 26 in on-base percentage. That's not good. 22nd in runs scored and 23rd in walk rate. So they can't hit, and they did not walk a lot. So they weren't on base. Like I said, with the on base percentage being at 26, and they didn't get any slug really. They didn't get any big pop from anyone in their lineup. In fact, Wyatt Langford led the team in home runs with 22, and Corey Seager, who missed a whole bunch of the year, was second with like 21. It's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. So Jim Bowden of The Athletic says that Marcell Ozuna is very much linked to the Rangers. And guess what? I love this option. I think this is one of the best options out there for the Rangers to go get somebody who is coming off of a bad year, but is 1 year removed. Well, not even a bad year. He's coming off of a year where he had 21 home runs, would have tied him for second with Corey Seager. You know what I mean? Like on the team. And so he would have been the second best offensive player on this squad, which could have used another guy with a 20 home run season. You know what I mean? Like that could have, it could have helped get the 7 games that basically the team needed to get into the playoffs. A guy like Marcell Ozuna, his bat could have helped at different points in times. Instead of, no offense to Alejandro Ozuna, just not the same caliber hitter. So, there are different points in times where, the DH spot or outfield spot could have been shifted around to get Osuna's bat in there. So, there's flexibility right there. He's not going to be that much. He's probably only going to ask for about $12 million for 1 year. We paid more for, I think, Jock. So here's the thing. If you can move Jock and get Ozuna for a year, I'm predicting, and this is a lot of Vladimir Guerrero Sr. talk of the past few Texas Rangers daily, but I think, you could get a kind of reclamation project with Marcell Ozuna like you did with Vladdy Guerrero, and for 1 year, you might get an MLB comeback player of the year. At least that's what Jim Bowden's talking about. So, and I like Jim Bowden. I think he has a very good feel for what's going on in Major League Baseball at different points in times, and especially when it comes to the trade market. Oh man, as you see, the light's coming to shine in brightly. So we're just gonna finish this off, even though the lighting's gonna be kind of weird. But yeah, that's where we're at with Marcell Ozuna. I think that could be definitely a good thing for the Texas Rangers to possibly bring into the organization. Someone who I do not think is going to be a good person to bring into the organization is also someone Jim Bowden is saying that could be possibly be a free agent signing of the Texas Rangers. It is Brandon Woodruff. Brandon Woodruff, he's a super reliable vet, yes. Last year he had a 3.20 ERA and a 0.912 whip in 12 starts, but he was hurt. He has a history of a little bit of injury issues. Jim Bowden is predicting a $22 million for 2 year price tag for Brandon Woodruff, and I am saying no. Not because of the fact that we don't need a starter, because we could use another veteran starter. Everyone could use another veteran starter. That's kind of that's kind of reality. But what I'm seeing and what I'm looking at right now is a guy who is hurt. And if the Rangers are picking up hurt veteran starters for more than $10 million, they're not serious about winning. So I say stay away from Brandon. Stay away from Brandon. Just kind of, back away. Man, that lighting is terrible now. Sorry, guys, but, things must happen. Anyway, stay away from Woodruff. Don't go down that lane. If you're going to get a fourth starter from the free agent market, it can't be more than $7-8 million. I'm thinking, you got to get some guys who are, kind of at the bottom barrel when it comes to that, because you got to spend money on this lineup. And you know why? Because we don't have a Shohei Ohtani on this team. And this last little bit of Texas Rangers Daily is not going to be about the Texas Rangers. So sorry, because the World Series is going on, and we are seeing one of the greatest performances by any Major League Baseball player in the history of Major League Baseball when it comes to Shohei Ohtani and just the things that he is able to accomplish. I'm not going to go over all the numbers because the numbers are ridiculous. What I'm going to talk about is the idea that we need to appreciate Shohei Ohtani. And here's why I say appreciation is not exactly where it needs to be. There's still so much that we take for granted when it comes to the idea of pitching and hitting at the same time in the same game, in a World Series game. That's like a quarterback, because you have to think about the amount of preparation it takes to be a starting pitcher. That's like a quarterback also probably being what, your middle linebacker too, you know what I mean? Like all the processing things you have to do as a hitter, as a pitcher, you know what I mean? And do it at a high level, maybe even like a safety out there. It's crazy. And you know what? Basketball, you play both sides. Soccer, you play both sides. Hockey, you play both sides. You know what I mean? And football is one of the few sports where you rarely see someone play two ways. And baseball too. Well, no, actually not in baseball, because baseball you are in the field and at the plate. But the idea of the mental gymnastics you have to do as a starting pitcher, then getting ready to hit, and then doing both at the high level that Shohei is doing. It'd be different if the dude had like a 4 ERA and, was, barely getting by, maybe a relief pitcher, you know what I mean? Just kind of every now and then you get him in there. No, he is a full-on member of that rotation. He is a full-on beast in the lineup. So I think we need to all just take a step back, smile, and appreciate Shohei Ohtani, and appreciate the sun. Hi, sun. It is a morning here at Texas Rangers Daily, and we're gonna get on out of here on this No Frills Wednesday and get you on to your day. Like, share, subscribe if you can see the sign. Enjoy the show, but it's there, I promise you. And we'll be back here tomorrow. Texas Rangers Daily Throwback Thursday. We're gonna have some fun. All right, see you later. Monowia, stay gold, pony boy. I am going to. I'm blind.